Welcome to Fit Talk with Coach Luis. If you're serious about getting fit, then this is your show. This is a podcast where fitness enthusiasts share all the ups and downs, the challenges, and the victories on their fitness journey. Now, here's your host, Coach Luis.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Fit Talk with Coach Luis. Today, we are talking with Leah Stroud, who is a retired pro skier. She is a coach. She also owns her own company, Kilos Fitness. And I'm really happy to have you here with us today, Leah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that we're going to get to know a little bit about your story, get to know about why it is that you do what you do. Hopefully we get some highlights about your skiing years, few little things, and just kind of know about you and who you are as a person, as a coach, and why you do what you love to do. So yeah, with that being said, let me know, what is it that you feel that drove you to being in this whole entire fitness and health world?
All right. Well, okay, I'm going to do like a fast forward version of this.
Sweet.
To kind of help you guys understand where it all started. But I grew up in Wisconsin on like a tiny little ski hill with all they had was a train park. So that's all I knew was hitting the train park. And I basically just followed my younger brother around on all these features and mimicked what he did and ended up becoming pretty good. So we both like ended up starting competing, and we moved out to Utah. And, after like a dozen injuries of competing at a higher level, all of this kind of like came to fruition because I kept getting injured, and I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Like I can't handle these injuries anymore. Like, what can I do? And I think at one point I kind of lost myself and was kind of deciding like, what am I outside of skiing? And so I don't know, I think either my parents put it in my ear or someone was like, you should go get your master's. So like during that time I had broken something, I think my collarbone at that point. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go apply to get my master's and check this out and whatever. And during that time became like fascinated with health and fitness.
Okay.
It was like, I wonder if I actually like applied this, if my skiing would get better. And so to put it all in like a nutshell, like over those like course of those years, I moved to Breckenridge and started competing again and got some of my old tricks back, but like was way stronger. And I was just like so impressed by like what you could do in the gym and how you could incorporate nutrition could like affect your sport and like affect your body and your mindset. And basically like everything came to fruition in terms of like, I didn't realize the impact that health could have on everything else in your life. So yeah, it made my skiing better, but also was like making me a more aware person of what I was eating and like making me more mindful, and like all of these things started to like all come together. And it kind of led me on this path of like, okay, I'm skiing, this is awesome, my skiing's like gotten pretty good and I'm like healthy and I'm liking my body now, and like all of it like kind of came together into like where I am now.
Nice. I like how you wrapped it up like that. That's really good.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the fast forward condensed version of like, I mean, there's so much crap thrown in there, but in the grand scheme of things, that's how like I got to where I am now.
So how old were you when you started the skiing?
Oh, I was really young. I was 3 years old, and my parents just threw me on skis, and my brother and I were like so enthused by it. We're like, this is so awesome. We can go off jumps. Like, let's go.
Yeah. And it's okay. Nice.
Yeah. And we didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt until my teens. So I was really feeling it for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, so you said that those injuries are kind of, in a way, that's what changed you.
Yeah.
As far as thinking of what being in the gym meant. So
yeah.
How did that play through?
I remember when I broke my back, I was like 16. I broke 2 vertebrae in my back, and I had to quit the soccer team, and I couldn't ski. And I just remember being so bummed. And then that happened like 10 more times. And I swear, like, I'm pretty strong. I can like take injuries, but as they just kept adding up, at some point I was like, all right, to be honest, I was like drinking a bunch. I was in college. I didn't really care about my health. Like, I was having all these injuries, and I was like, okay, I have to do something different because my skiing's going down. Like, I'm not obviously not very healthy because of college life. And so I think it just clicked at one moment, and I don't know what that breaking moment was, but I'm sure it was one of those injuries where I was just like, okay, this has to stop. And then once I was in my master's and started learning about like health and my body and like all this stuff, I was like, oh my God, this is the direction I want to take. So at the end of the day, I really do thank my injuries. I mean, it sucked at the time, but I think what I've learned is that at my lowest of lows is where I've come out to my highest of highs.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put that, though. It really is. Because we usually learn from our mistakes or injuries, or we learn, okay, what can I do better to not have this happen again? And that's what you did. You learned.
It's crazy because I feel like parents are always trying to like help their kids not fail. And I feel like the best thing for my future kids or who's ever kids or for my parents tell me is to fail, because it literally teaches you so much, like not only about yourself, but like what it means then to come up higher, and like you gain so much from failure. And I don't want to call like the things that happened to me failures, but like they were setbacks, they were hard times, like between breakups and breaking bones and all these things that happened. Like I feel like every time something really crappy happened, I'd be like, oh yes, this is why that happened.
It's so true, though. It really is. It's one of the things I love the most is that failure is always an option, because you literally do learn from it. And it's not really a failure if you learned from it and did it better, is it? It's just, you just learned the one way that was like, okay, you know what, this didn't work or whatever. And then you take that in, look at it and fix it. And the next time you try another way. And so it's not really a failure unless you give up, and you obviously haven't. So
exactly. I guess you choose what you make of it.
Definitely. Yep. And that's so true. I mean, we were kind of talking about that earlier, is, positive mindset. It's all on how you view things. If you have a positive mindset, then you let yourself open for good things to happen.
Yeah. I said that the other day to someone, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, oh, the grocery store clerk was so rude to me. And I'm like, what vibe were you putting out? Like, did you go into the grocery store in a bad mood? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like,
there you go.
I went up to the cashier in a bad mood, and they probably treated you like you were in a bad mood. I was like, if you would have walked in there and been super positive, you would have had an entire different outlook.
Exactly. So what is it that you use now to help you fight away those negative thoughts? Like, is there anything you do mindfully for that?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I read 30 minutes a day. It's like my one thing. I read 30 minutes a day about like self-help. I know it's cheesy, but like self-help is the best thing ever. And then I listen to different podcasts every single day. Like usually while I like go for a jog, and I like jog every single morning. I don't even like running, but it's like the thing that like brings all my mindfulness out of me. I have no idea why, but it's like, oh, I'm going to be a great person today if I just keep running. So I go for a run, even though I don't even like running. So I listen to these podcasts like Jay Shetty and some of these people who are very in touch with like positive emotions and energy. And it really does help me every single day. And sometimes I feel like if I go a few days without listening or reading, I feel like I'm like backpedaling. So I'm not saying I need it, but it definitely keeps it going.
Absolutely. I believe that. I'm the same way. I've started to do something I never thought I would ever do in my life. I'm listening now to podcasts. Like I listen to the Doctor's Pharmacy almost every morning when I'm doing my running before I do my workout. That's one thing I never thought I would ever do. And I always like, oh my God, it's so boring. I have to listen to music while I'm working out. But you're absolutely right. It changes your whole mindset that you're running, you're getting exercising, but at the same time, you're exercising your mind. And it really does give you a better outlook to the day, because it's something positive that you're listening to. And it just really does. It kind of shapes your whole day. And in the mornings that I don't do it for whatever reason, it's my days off. It's so interesting that you said the same thing, how you just feel like if you don't do it, you're just like, oh man, what the heck? Like, oh, that's what it was. It was I didn't listen to my podcast, or I didn't read that book in the morning, and that's what throws you off. But that shows how important it is to have that mental, that self-care there for ourselves, especially as coaches. You're a coach, so you have to do that. You have to take that moment to yourself to kind of self-reflect and to just disconnect from the daily thoughts and all that.
Oh, I 100% agree. Sometimes if I don't write, I write what I'm grateful for every morning. Sometimes if I don't write it, I'm like, oh God, I didn't write it. And I'll like freak out and go home and like write it really quick. So I'm like, I seriously feel so weird if I don't take that moment to be like, what am I grateful for? Because I'm like, otherwise I'll just complain all day, to be honest. So
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things I try to tell a lot of the people that I work with is journal. It sounds like something so insignificant or so small, but once they start doing it, they start realizing that it's very important. And that's a fantastic point. The what you're grateful for. So if anyone that's listening is dealing with issues like that, write few pointers that you're grateful for every day. It doesn't have to be anything crazy either. It could just be, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. I mean, that's a really good one to be grateful for. So things like that. So that's really good. So what, I guess, so along the way, what are some of the struggles that you're still dealing with or going through
at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would say my biggest struggles right now are in my business. And it's not that it's not doing well. It's just that I did not know business when I got into this.
Okay.
I had passion. I was like, the whole reason I coach is, I coach fitness and I coach skiing. Because a year ago, I read the book, You're a Badass. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to take back my life. I'm not going to do my master's degree. I'm going to like do what I'm passionate about. And so I wrote on passion into this. I was like, I'm going to be a head ski coach and I'm going to coach fitness and it's going to be awesome. And I started this company without knowing business. So I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. Like, I have these tools. I have my master's degree. Like, why wouldn't I be able to figure out a business? And a lot of my struggles come because I don't know numbers and I didn't know what like cash flow meant. And a lot of things that I didn't really think about going into it are like some of the daily things that I deal with now. So I think one of the struggles right with my business and that daily struggle is like trying to stay positive and knowing that if I keep putting in this work that it'll eventually pay off, because it's so scary and so risky to start your own business. Like,
yes, it is.
Anyone who's done it knows it's like, it's terrifying because you don't know if you're going to see your next paycheck. Like when you work a 9 to 5, you're like, I'm going to get the next paycheck unless you're a terrible person and get fired. But for the most part, like you have no idea if it's coming. And
exactly.
And you always have to it's all on me. Is that what you're going to say? It's all on me.
Yeah, it is. It's on the person, individual that's with the business. It's on them. That's it.
Yeah. Yes.
So what is your business called? Like, give me a little bit about that, about how that came to fruition and some of that backstory.
Yeah. So, kind of like I was just saying, is just like, I really wanted to figure out what I was passionate about. And in that book, it was like, write down the things you love to do. And I wrote down skiing, fitness, and helping people. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this small list? And I was like, well, I could help people ski and get fit, I guess.
There you go.
So again, like it all kind of came from me deciding like, how can I do what I love? Like I go to the gym every day, I ski every day, but like, okay, I'm not going to like, I'm retired from pro skiing. So like, how can I stay in the industry? I can coach. I'm where I'm at physically now. I love my body. I love how I feel. I love my mind. Like, how can I help others do that now? And so I think a lot of this kind of came about from that. And then also I've done programs in the past where like, they're like quick fixes or like this one size fits all type program. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I have a bad knee. And so I kind of started Kilos on the fact of like creating personal programs for people. Like, you know, someone comes to me and they can only work out for 30 minutes, 4 days a week from home, and they have a knee problem. So I'd come in and be like, okay, here are the exercises that you can do. So it's like creating something that's personal for people that they can actually sustain for a long time, instead of like something where here it is, hope it works, and if you lose the weight, I hope you don't gain it back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really good. It's very personalized. So that's what,
Yeah.
and as you said, it's not a one size fits all. So what works for me won't work for the other person, etc. So that's a really good thing that you're doing it that way, because then it gives the person a true change in their lives, and it's something that actually will work for them. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's not going to look in there like, I have a bad knee, so why are you having me doing these, you know, these box jumps or something like that, you know?
Yeah. And I've been there, and I know that it's really hard when you don't have that one-on-one attention. And, you know, I still do train people in person sometimes if they're a good fit, but like the one-on-one attention is huge. Like people want to know someone's like in their corner, and some people don't have gym friends or people to turn to. So it's really like a niche that I've found where I can really be that support system for people, as well as like coach them through a process of teaching them instead of directing them. Like I like to give direction, but at the end of the day, I want to teach people so that they don't have to have another coach again, unless they really, really want to see me or hear from me.
Right. And you know what? That's the sign of a good coach. A coach that's training their athletes or their patients or their clients to become good enough to where they don't need them anymore. You want them to be self-sufficient. That way you can continue to help other people that are coming in and do need that accountability and that guidance. And so absolutely, that is the right mentality to have. You know, you don't want to have, unless of course, like you said, unless they want to, just for accountability purposes, to, you know, to have you there. But, you know, to have that constant, it's always good to train the person to be that way, be self-sufficient, and then move forward.
Yeah, that's the goal.
It really is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So is that, and I know you said that's kind of like what your motivation is. So when you kind of started all with the coaching, have you had, I know, I'm sure you've had a lot of them. So is there one type of transformation that kind of really sticks out to you, that kind of made you realize, again, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing?
Yeah. And I want to say, you know, the example I want to give is actually my boyfriend and I's roommate that we were living with in Colorado. Because when we met him, when I lived with him, he was, and I don't know if he'll hear this, but he was so unhealthy. I was like amazed by how unhealthy he was, just like eating whatever he wanted, had no idea, like, you know, whatever, had never really stepped foot in a gym before. And it's been exactly a year and a couple weeks since we started training together, and he is a different person. Like his mindset, his addiction to the gym, and not in a bad way, just like he loves pushing his body, and like he's become so healthy and like knows the macronutrients of food and has stopped drinking. And it's just like, it is amazing. Like it brings me to tears when he's like, Leah, this is so awesome, blah, blah. This is how I look now. And I'm just like, this is insane. Like how did I do this? Like, how did I instill this in someone? And it just brings me back to the fact, like, this is why I do this. And like, I want to continue to like push people in that direction where they're like, it's a mind shift, right? Like it's a lifestyle change, if I had to put it one way, instead of this is like the gym and your nutrition plan, like have fun. It's like, this is going to be like a mind shift and hopefully turn your life around in so many different areas, because once you're healthier, you kind of become happier, and then it like starts to like dribble into the other areas of your life. That's at least what I've seen so far, and it's been really extraordinary to watch.
It absolutely is. It's a very good positive domino effect. You know, you're changing their actual mindset. So you're making them understand that going to the gym is great for you, but there's so much more involved in it. You're going to be more, like you said, you're going to be more positive. The way you're eating is better. So your body's going to react better. you're going to just feel overall better because you're eating cleaner. So in turn, that makes so many more things turn into a more positive. So you as a person become more positive, and it is a lifestyle change. So now he's got this. Before and that's literally what it is. You know, when you eat horrible and eat bad, you have an addiction to those things. You have an addiction to sugars. You have an addiction to all these, you know, foods, saturated fats. And then now you can say it's kind of an addiction, but it's in a healthy way, in a positive way. And look at him now, like you said, that's fantastic. He feels better. I really do hope that he hears this so he knows how much he's inspiring, you know, you. And now that I hear the story, me and whoever else listens to this, you know, it's a great inspiration. It is.
Yeah, it really does trickle into other aspects of your life. And I can't stress that enough. Like, just eating foods that are higher in energy or foods that are alive will make you feel alive. And it's pretty awesome to see.
It really is. And I like that you said that now he's understanding things like macros, the stuff that really is important, because that means that you as a coach are educating the people to understand why they're doing what they're doing. You're not just saying, hey, go do these exercises and, you know, eat less. And that's it. That's not really helpful, you know, but the fact that you're actually, you know, you said that he understands what these things are, that's what makes those changes. Because then the person starts understanding, oh, okay, this is why I can't have this. And then when they go to a restaurant, they're not going to have you next to them 24/7. So when they do go out and do these things, they're going to start making much more better, mindful choices. And that's because you're educating them. So good job as a coach, you know?
Hey, thanks.
So besides the You're a Badass book, what other books do you read or have you read that have been helping you that you'd recommend?
7 Habits of Highly Effective People was very good. And the other one that really moved me, I think, was Who Says You Can't, You Do.
Oh, nice. We're like our worst enemy, yeah.
That was a really good one. And then honestly, I listen to Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast every single day. I'll like re-listen to him over and over again because I just think he's such a powerful, mindful speaker.
Awesome.
So that one is like, if you don't want to read, you don't have an excuse because you can listen.
You can, I know, and there's audio books now too, so you can get those books in audio books. There you go.
Yeah.
And what are your top favorite things that you like to do? So I know you're very active. So what's like your top 3 favorite things like for your active rest days that you like to do?
Am I allowed to say skiing?
I think that's a given. Can you imagine if you didn't say skiing? They would be like, wait a minute.
Like, didn't you like skiing? Ooh, that's a tough one. I like to hike and camp. I love camping. I don't know what it is about like getting away from my phone and being out in the wilderness, but I love camping and we try to go as much as we can. I will do any sport that gives me adrenaline. So longboarding, surfing, I will jump off anything. I love sports that like get my adrenaline going where I feel like I might die. So sometimes I even switch it up and put a snowboard on. But for the most part, I pretty much like every non-team sport. Like I love soccer. I've played soccer my whole life, but as I get older, I realize that I really like, you know, like mountain biking and things that are like kind of on my own with another person, but not necessarily like I need the other person to do the sport.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. It's like I can go do it on my own, or I can invite you to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, you can come along, it'd be great, but like you don't need the other person. I completely understand that.
Yeah. Which I mean, recently I've taken up mountain biking and I am obsessed because it's like tree skiing. Like you get to go super fast and go up and get that adrenaline, but a little bit more higher for injury. So I'm trying to take it easy.
Yeah, it is. I love mountain biking. I mean, I used to do it a lot until I got 2 hemorrhage discs myself a few years back. So I kind of stopped also, but mountain biking is on the top of my list. Love it.
Yeah, same.
So what message would you want to send out to anyone that's listening that could be going through issues and struggles, like any type of words of wisdom that Leah could give them?
Yeah, I guess it took me a long time to figure this out, but I feel like everything we do is a choice. So like you staying in a job you don't like is a choice. You staying in a bad mood is a choice. You know, everything you do, if you fall victim, if you're complaining, if whatever you're doing, you're choosing to do. And I think it took me a long time to understand this, that like, I think for a while I was living my life on what my parents wanted me to do, versus what I wanted to do. And it was a choice, you know, like I chose to be a victim of my life, be like, oh, I don't even want to go do this, but my parents want me to do this. So, or I'm stuck in this 9-to-5 job. Like I was choosing all that. And I think my biggest piece of advice to people is that you have the opportunity and the ability to choose a different life for yourself if you want to. If you don't like the life you're living in, if you don't like the mindset you're in, if you're always coming up with complaints and negativity, like you have the choice. You can wake up earlier, you can choose to be positive, you know, you can choose to react to people differently. Like sometimes you don't even have to react, but like all these things, all these choices you made, you're manifesting your reality. So if you want it to be different, all you have to do is change your energy and change the choices that you're making.
Absolutely. I love that. It's because we really do. Sometimes we'll just stay complacent and then just complain, and years go by and just complain. And it's like, how about stop complaining and do something about it, change it. And that's easier said than done. I know that, because I've been there, but that's another way that, again, whoever's listening and needs help with that, reach out to a coach, because a good coach will help you in all those aspects, and they'll help you make, you know, good choices as far as when it comes to your, you know, your eating, your sleeping, the stress levels, your recovery levels, and all that will trickle down to kind of like with your friend. It'll trickle down to make better choices in other things, because you're seeing how those choices are changing your life for the better. So then you start seeing, hey, I can actually take control of my life in this too, can't I? And then you start making those choices. So it really is a full lifestyle change. So that's a fantastic, that's a great thing to say for people to hear. And yeah, so if anyone that's listening wants to reach out to you, how can they do that?
I mean, they can follow me on Instagram and DM me there. And my annoying Instagram is at L with 5 E's YUH. And obviously I also have an Instagram for Kilos Fitness, but anyone who reaches out, I check my Instagram regularly to make sure that people are messaging. I message almost everyone back just because that's the kind of person I am, even though some of them are creepers. I message most people back just because I feel like it is more personable and people can connect with me that way. So
absolutely. And definitely, and I'll put your IG handle and all that will be on the post. So again, anyone that's needing help with things like that, you know, Leah is a great coach to help you out with that. So yeah, thank you so much, Leah, for taking the time. This was really good to get to know more about you, about your journey. I mean, you're skiing since you were 3 years old, and I mean, breaking your back about 10 times and not giving up. That's a big story of persistence and, you know, not letting any type of adversity, you know, hold you down, but actually making it positive and using that for fuel in your life, and, you know, to owning your own company. So definitely you've been doing some great things, and we'll definitely be looking forward to checking in with you again and see what's changed and what's new. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun for sure.
You got it. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Leah, and stay tuned for next time. Bye.
Thanks for checking out Fit Talk with Coach Luis. Remember to follow us on social media, on Instagram at Live2Progress, and on Twitter at Live2Progress. Stay tuned for more episodes of Fit Talk with Coach Luis coming soon. And remember, always live to progress.